a WikiVidi Documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo Wilhelm DiCaprio is an American actor and film producer. DiCaprio began his career by appearing in television commercials in the late 1980s. He next had recurring roles in various television series, such as the soap opera Santa Barbara and the sitcom Growing Pains. He debuted in his film career by starring as Josh in Critters 3. He starred in the film adaptation of the memoir This Boy's Life, and received acclaim, and his first Academy Award nomination for his supporting role in What's Eating Gilbert Grape. He gained public recognition with leading roles in The Basketball Diaries and the romantic drama Romeo and Juliet. He achieved international fame as a star in James Cameron's epic romance Titanic, which became the highest-grossing film of all time to that point. Since 2000, DiCaprio has received critical acclaim for his work in a wide range of film genres. DiCaprio's subsequent films include The Man in the Iron Mask, the biographical crime drama Catch Me If You Can, and the epic historical drama Gangs of New York, which marked his first of many collaborations with director Martin Scorsese. He was acclaimed for his performances in the political war thriller Blood Diamond, the neo-noir crime drama The Departed, the espionage thriller Body of Lies, the drama Revolutionary Road, the psychological thriller Shutter Island, the science fiction thriller Inception, the biographical film J. Edgar, the western Django Unchained, and the period drama The Great Gatsby. DiCaprio's portrayals of Howard Hughes in The Aviator and Hugh Glass in The Revenant won him the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor Motion Picture Drama. His performance as Jordan Belfort in The Wolf of Wall Street won him the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor Motion Picture Musical or Comedy. He also won the Academy Award for Best Actor and BAFTA Award for his performance in The Revenant. DiCaprio is the founder of his own production company, Appian Way Productions. Early life. Leonardo Wilhelm DiCaprio was born on November 11, 1974, in Los Angeles. He is the only child of Ermelin, a legal secretary, and George DiCaprio, an underground comics artist and producer and distributor of comic books. DiCaprio's father is of Italian and German descent. DiCaprio's maternal grandfather, Wilhelmine den Berken, was German. His maternal grandmother, Helene den Berken, was a Russian-born German citizen. In an interview in Russia, DiCaprio referred to himself as half Russian, and said that two of his grandparents were Russian. DiCaprio's parents met while attending college and subsequently moved to Los Angeles, California. DiCaprio was named Leonardo because his pregnant mother was looking at a Leonardo da Vinci painting in the Uffizi Museum in Florence, Italy, when he first kicked. His parents separated when he was a year old, and he lived mostly with his mother. The two lived in several Los Angeles neighborhoods, such as Echo Park and Los Feliz, while his mother worked several jobs. DiCaprio attended Seeds Elementary School and John Marshall High School a few blocks away, after attending the Los Angeles Center for Enriched Studies for 4 years. He dropped out of high school following his third year, eventually earning his general equivalency diploma. DiCaprio spent part of his childhood in Germany with his maternal grandparents, Wilhelm and Helene. He is conversant in German and Italian. 1979-1990, Career Beginnings. In 1979, DiCaprio was removed at the age of 5 from the set of the children's television series Romper Room for being disruptive. He began his career by appearing in several commercials and educational films, following his older stepbrother Adam Ferrara into television commercials, and landing an ad at age 14 for Matchbox Cars by Mattel, which he considered his first role. Throughout his teens he was seen in commercials for Kraft Foods, Bubble Yum, Apple Jacks, and many more. In 1989, he played the role of Glenn in 2 episodes of the television show The New Lassie. In 1990, started acting regularly on television. This started with a role in the pilot of The Outsiders, and 1 episode of the soap opera Santa Barbara, playing the young Mason Capwell. That same year, DiCaprio got a break on television when he was cast in Parenthood, a series based on a successful comedy film by the same name. His works that year earned him 2 nominations at the Young Artist Award in Best Young Actor in a Daytime Series and Best Young Actor starring in a new television series. DiCaprio was also a celebrity contestant on the children's game show Fun House. One of the stunts he performed on the show was going fishing in a small pool of water by catching the fish only with his teeth. 1991, 1996, Major Projects and Breakthrough. In 1991, he played an uncredited role in one episode of Roseanne. Later that year, DiCaprio's debut film role was in the comedic sci-fi horror film Critters 3, in which he played the stepson of an evil landlord. A role that DiCaprio described as, "your average, no-depth, standard kid with blonde hair." Released in March that year, the movie went direct-to-video. Shortly after, he became a recurring cast member on the successful ABC sitcom Growing Pains, playing Luke Brower, a homeless boy who is taken in by the Seaver family. DiCaprio was nominated for the Young Artist Award for Best Young Actor Company starring in a television series. In 1992, alongside Drew Barrymore, Sarah Gilbert, Tom Skerritt, and Cheryl Ladd, he played a supporting role in the first installment of the Poison Ivy film series. It was nominated for the 1992 Grand Jury Prize of Best Film at the Sundance Festival, and received a nomination at the Independent Spirit Awards. In 1992, DiCaprio was handpicked by Robert De Niro out of 400 young actors to play the lead role in This Boy's Life, adapted from Tobias Wolff's memoir of the same name. He played opposite De Niro, who was acting as his stepfather, and Ellen Barkin as his mother. The film was directed by Michael Caton Jones and released in 1993. In 1993, DiCaprio co-starred as the mentally handicapped brother of Johnny Depp's character in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, a comic tragic odyssey of a dysfunctional Iowa family. Director Lasse Hallström admitted he was initially looking for a less good-looking actor, but finally settled on DiCaprio as he had emerged as the most observant actor among all who auditioned. Budgeted at $11 million, the film became a critical success, resulting in various accolades for DiCaprio, who was awarded the National Board of Review Award and nominated for both an Academy Award and a Golden Globe for his portrayal. New York Times critic Janet Maslin praised DiCaprio's performance, writing, "The film's real show-stopping turn comes from Mr. DiCaprio, who makes Arnie's many tics so startling and vivid that at first he is difficult to watch. The performance has a sharp, desperate intensity from beginning to end." DiCaprio's first effort of 1995 was Sam Raimi's The Quick and the Dead, a Western film. Sony Pictures was dubious over DiCaprio's casting, and as a result, co-star Sharon Stone decided to pay the actor's salary herself. The film was released to a dismal box office performance, barely grossing $18.5 million in the US, and received mixed reviews from critics. He next starred in Agnieszka Holland Total Eclipse, which he co-lead with David Thewlis. The feature is a fictionalized account of the homosexual relationship between Arthur Umbo and Paul Verlaine. He replaced River Phoenix, who died during pre-production on the project. A minor art house success, the film grossed $0.34 million throughout its domestic theatrical run. His last film of the year 1995 was The Basketball Diaries, co-starring Lorraine Bracco, James Madio, and Mark Wahlberg. It is a biographical film, in which DiCaprio plays Jim Carroll in his teenage years as a promising high school basketball player and writer who developed an addiction to heroin with his misguided friends. In 1996, DiCaprio appeared opposite Claire Danes in Baz Luhrmann's film Romeo and Juliet, an abridged modernization of William Shakespeare's romantic tragedy of the same name, which retained the original Shakespearean dialogue. The project achieved a worldwide box office take of $147 million. Later that year, he starred in Jerry Zaks' family drama Marvin's Room, reuniting with Robert De Niro. Based on Scott McPherson's screenplay adaptation of his own 1991 stage play of the same name, the film revolves around two sisters, played by Meryl Streep and Diane Keaton, who are reunited through tragedy after 17 years of estrangement. DiCaprio portrayed Hank, Streep's character's troubled son, who has been committed to a mental asylum for setting fire to his mother's house. 1997-2001, International Stardom. In 1997, DiCaprio starred in James Cameron's Titanic as 20-year-old Jack Dawson, a penniless Wisconsin man who wins 2 tickets for the third class on the ill-fated RMS Titanic. DiCaprio initially refused to portray the character, but was eventually encouraged to pursue the role by Cameron, who strongly believed in his acting ability. Against expectations, the film went on to become the highest-grossing film to date, grossing more than $1.84 billion in box office receipts worldwide, and transformed DiCaprio into a commercial movie superstar, resulting in fan worship among teenage girls and young women in general that became known as Leo-mania. In May 1998, for example, his face appeared on the covers of at least 14 magazines, and 3 books about DiCaprio were among the top 6 paperbacks on the New York Times bestseller list. More than 200 fans contacted the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences to protest his not being nominated for the 70th Academy Awards. He was nominated for other high-profile awards, including a second Golden Globe nomination. Upon the success of Titanic, DiCaprio stated in 2000, "I have no connection with me during that whole Titanic phenomenon and what my face became around the world. I'll never reach that state of popularity again, and I don't expect to. It's not something I'm going to try to achieve either." The following year, DiCaprio played a self-mocking role in a small appearance in Woody Allen's caustic satire of the fame industry, Celebrity. It features an ensemble cast that consists of Kenneth Branagh, Judy Davis, Winona Ryder, Melanie Griffith, Joe Mantegna, Charlize Theron, Hank Azaria, Famke Janssen, Donald Trump, etc. That year, he also starred in the dual roles of the villainous King Louis XIV and his secret, sympathetic twin brother Philippe in Randall Wallace's The Man in the Iron Mask, based on the same titled 1939 film. Despite receiving a rather mixed to negative response, the film became a box office success, grossing $180 million internationally. Though DiCaprio's performance was generally well received, with Entertainment Weekly critic Owen Gleberman writing that the shockingly androgynous DiCaprio looks barely old enough to be playing anyone with hormones, but he's a fluid and instinctive actor. With the face of a mischievous angel, he was awarded a Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Screen Couple for both incarnations the following year. DiCaprio's next project was the drama film The Beach, an adaptation of Alex Garland's 1996 novel of the same name. He played an American backpacking tourist looking for the perfect way of life in a secret island commune in the Gulf of Thailand. Budgeted at $50 million. The film became a financial success, grossing $144 million worldwide, but as with DiCaprio's previous project, the film was negatively reviewed by critics. Todd McCarthy of Variety noted that Richard DiCaprio's role is too much the American everyman and not enough of a well-defined individual to entirely capture one's interest and imagination, and DiCaprio, while perfectly watchable, does not endow him with the quirks or distinguishing marks to make this man from nowhere a dimensional character. The next year, he was nominated for another Razzie Award for his work on the film. In the mid-1990s, DiCaprio appeared in a mostly improvised short film called Don's Plum, as a favor to aspiring director R.D. Robb, when Robb decided to expand the black and white film to feature length. However, DiCaprio and co-star Tobey Maguire had its release blocked by court order, arguing that they never intended to make it a theatrical release, as it would have commercial value thanks to their stardom. The film eventually premiered at the 2001 Berlin International Film Festival, where it was well received by critics. 2002-2009, continued success and producing. DiCaprio's first film of 2002 was in Martin Scorsese's Gangs of New York, a historical film set in the mid-19th century in the Five Points district of New York City. Director Scorsese initially struggled selling his idea of realizing the film until DiCaprio became interested in playing protagonist Amsterdam Vallen, a young leader of the Irish faction, and thus Miramax Films got involved with financing the project. Nonetheless, production on the film was plagued by blown-out budgets and producer-director squabbles, resulting in a marathon 8-month shoot and, at $103 million, the most expensive film Scorsese had ever made. Upon its release, Gangs of New York became a financial and critical success. DiCaprio's acting was well received, but was overshadowed by Daniel Day-Lewis' performance among most critics. Also in 2002, DiCaprio appeared in the biographical crime drama film Catch Me If You Can, based on the life of Frank Abagnale Jr., who, before his 19th birthday, used his charm, confidence, and several different personas to make millions in the 1960s writing bad checks. Directed by Steven Spielberg, the film was shot in 147 different locations in only 52 days, making it the most adventurous, supercharged movie-making DiCaprio had experienced yet. Catch Me If You Can received favorable reviews and proved to be an international success, becoming DiCaprio's highest-grossing film since Titanic with a total of $351.1 million worldwide. Roger Ebert praised his performance, and noted that while DiCaprio, who in recent films has played dark and troubled characters, is breezy and charming here, playing a boy who discovers what he is good at, and does it. The following year, DiCaprio received his third Golden Globe nomination for his work in the film. In 2004, DiCaprio took his first producing task in Neil Smoula, The Assassination of Richard Nixon, as one of the executives. It stars Sean Penn, Don Cheadle, Jack Thompson, and Naomi Watts, and is based on the story of would-be assassin Samuel Bick, who plotted to kill Richard Nixon in 1974. It received a UN Certain Regard nomination at the 2004 Cannes Film Festival. It won and was nominated for many awards in the festival circuit, forging a collaboration with Scorsese. The two paired again for a biopic of the eccentric and obsessive American film director and aviation pioneer Howard Hughes in The Aviator. Centering on Hughes' life from the late 1920s to 1947s, DiCaprio initially developed the project with Michael Mann, who decided against directing it after working on back-to-back biopics, Ali and The Insider. The actor eventually pitched John Logan's script to Scorsese, who quickly signed on to direct. The Aviator became a critical and financial success. DiCaprio received rave reviews for his performance and won a Golden Globe Award for Best Actor, also receiving another Academy Award nomination. In 2005, DiCaprio was made a Commander of the Ordre des Arts et des Lettres by the French Minister of Culture for his contributions to the arts. The following year, the actor starred in both Blood Diamond and The Departed. In Edward Zwick's war film Blood Diamond, he starred as a diamond smuggler from Rhodesia who is involved in the Sierra Leone Civil War. The film itself received generally favorable reviews, and DiCaprio was praised for the authenticity of his South African Afrikaner accent, known as a difficult accent to imitate. In Scorsese's The Departed, he played the role of Billy Costigan, a state trooper working undercover in an Irish mob in Boston. Highly anticipated, the film was released to overwhelmingly positive reviews and became one of the highest-rated wide-release films of 2006. Budgeted at $90 million. It also emerged as DiCaprio and Scorsese's highest-grossing collaboration to date, easily beating The Aviator's previous record of $213.7 million. DiCaprio's performance in The Departed was applauded by critics and earned him a Satellite Award for Best Supporting Actor. The same year, both the Golden Globes and the Screen Actors Guild nominated DiCaprio twice in the Best Actor category for both of his 2006 features. And in addition, DiCaprio earned his third Academy Award nomination for Blood Diamond. In 2007, DiCaprio produced Gardener of Eden, directed by Kevin Connolly. It stars Lucas Haas, Erika Christensen, and Giovanni Ribisi. The film is about Adam Harris, a 20-something college dropout lacking real direction in his life. Adam's life changes dramatically when he accidentally captures a serial rapist. The newfound attention inspires him to become a vigilante. Shortly after saw the release of The 11th Hour, a documentary film which he created, produced, co-written and narrated, with contributions from over 50 politicians, scientists, and environmental activists, including former Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev, physicist Stephen Hawking, Nobel Prize winner Wangari Maathai, journalist Armin Betzger, and Paul Hawken. The film documents the grave problems facing the planet's life systems. Global warming, deforestation, mass species extinction, and depletion of the ocean's habitats are all addressed. The film's premise is that the future of humanity is in jeopardy. The film proposes potential solutions to these problems by calling for restorative action by the reshaping and rethinking of global human activity through technology, social responsibility and conservation. In 2008, DiCaprio starred in Body of Lies, a spy film based on the novel of the same name by David Ignatius, set in context of the Middle East and the War on Terror, telling the story of three men battling a terrorist organization and each other. Directed by Ridley Scott, DiCaprio dyed his hair brown and wore brown contacts for the role, which he chose to pursue because he considered it a throwback to political films of the 1970s such as The Parallax View and 3 Days of the Condor. The film received mixed reviews from critics, and at a budget of $67.5 million, became a moderate box office success, grossing $115 million worldwide. The same year, DiCaprio reunited with Kate Winslet to film the drama Revolutionary Road, directed by Winslet's then-husband Sam Mendes. As both actors had been reluctant to make romantic films similar to Titanic, it was Winslet who suggested that both should work with her on a film adaptation of the 1961 novel of the same name by Richard Yates after reading the script by Justin Hyther. Knowing that plot had little in common with the 1997 blockbuster, once DiCaprio agreed to do the film, it went almost immediately into production. He noted that he saw his character as unheroic and slightly cowardly, and that he was willing to be just a product of his environment. Portraying a couple in a failing marriage in the 1950s, DiCaprio and Winslet watched period videos promoting life in the suburbs to prepare themselves for Revolutionary Road, which eventually earned them favorable reviews. For his portrayal, DiCaprio garnered his 7th Golden Globes nomination. Also in 2008, he was a creator and an executive producer for Greensburg, an American television series broadcast on the Planet Green television network. The show takes place in Greensburg, Kansas, and is about rebuilding the town in a sustainable way after being hit by the May 2007 EF5 tornado. He was a producer for the psychological horror thriller film Orphan, directed by Joan Collet-Serra. The film stars Vera Farmiga, Peter Sarsgaard, Isabel Fuhrman, C.H. Pounder and Jimmy Bennett. The plot centers on a couple who, after the death of their unborn child, adopt a mysterious 9-year-old girl. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?